Hey everybody, this is Jesse P. Gilmore, agency transformation coach and founder of Niche in Control, author of The Agency Owner's Guide to Freedom, and the creator of Leverage for Growth. I'm the host of the Leverage for Growth podcast, and I know that in order for you to scale your agency successfully, there are multiple shifts that need to happen within your mindset, skill set, and leadership style. I am on a mission to interview marketing and PR agency owners on their journey to 6, 7, and 8 figures and leverage the lessons from their journey to save you time, energy, and money to get your agency to the next level. If you find value in these episodes, watch the case study video to learn more about Leverage for Growth and how we successfully scale agencies at nicheincontrol.com/case study. That is nicheincontrol.com/case study. You are now listening to Leverage for Growth. Hey everybody, this is Jesse P. Gilmore, founder of Niche in Control and creator of Leverage for Growth. Welcome to the Agency Leverage Edition. Today, I'm very excited because I have Laura Szczes with me. She is the podcast host of the Paid Media Playbook and also the founder and president of Double Z Media. Double Z Media is a high-performance media strategy agency helping busy marketing teams drive measurable results across digital, social, and offline channels. Laura brings over 2 decades of experience in media strategy, audience segmentation, omni-channel campaign execution. Before launching Double Z, she held leadership roles in media buying and digital marketing. And today she's built a team known for stretching every ad dollar, streamlining execution, and obsessing over KPIs. Her firm is trusted by medium-sized businesses and enterprise brands, not just for buying media, but for integrating data, strategy, and dynamic creative to change behavior and drive conversions. Today, Laura is going to walk us through how she built her agency from the ground up, some of the biggest lessons that she's learned on her journey, and how she envisions the future. So, Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Jesse. It's great to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about the history and background of your agency?
Sure. Well, I started first of all, I had worked for 20 years at another agency, and I always knew I was going to do my own thing at some point, and it just was the right time. So in January of 2020, of all the times to pick, I left and started my own agency, and luckily did not get an office because in March of 2020, we all know what happened. So it was good. But most of my clients came with me from my old agency. I didn't have a non-compete, so that was nice. And so, yeah, it just kind of took off because I had these kind of built-in clients, which is great, having built relationships over 25 years with various people in the industry. So networking is really important. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, we've had all kinds of, clients, e-commerce, events, tourist attractions, travel, food. It's really audience finding and software, a lot of software. Mm-hmm. And coaching. Good coaching.
Yeah. And kind of walk us back to that 2020. So you had some of those clients you'd worked with before, and they're starting to work in your agency. What was kind of like the biggest difference that you noticed, especially in that way beginning stage, from being somebody that was working in somebody else's agency and then starting to move into your own? What do you think was the biggest difference, or was it different?
It was in the way of, I guess, one, you're making more money. When you're working for someone else, you're not making the same amount of money. So I realized how much, I wasn't making before. And then, so there's that. I brought my right hand with me too. So she and I started together, Lisa, and so that was important for me too, to have that support immediately. So I had an automatic staff, and those things were I don't know, we just had more freedom to where I don't want to compare it to my old agency, except to say we made our own rules. I got a lawyer that was great and helped me through, small business lawyer helped me through the transition. And if I had to give one piece of advice from starting off, it was make sure you get really good accounting firm at the get-go. Cause I had a lot of issues with accounting in the beginning, simply because the people that I had hired were not the best. So, it took me a while to kind of get that ironed out, but yeah, now oh my gosh, I'm going on 6 years. So it's been great though. And I got great clients, and I don't know, you can make it your own energy. The agency is a reflection of me now, my mission, that I want to give my employees what I didn't have, which was a lot of support and a work-life balance and benefits and a 401k. So those are things that I didn't have all of those things at my other job. And I just want to, I don't know, set a good example for, as an agency owner, as a women business owner, like I'm going to take care of them. I can't wait for my staff to get pregnant. Seriously, I'm excited. So anyway, so it's just kind of, it's a different mentality. I think I was working for a boomer. I'm a Gen Xer. I feel like from a Gen X perspective, we are more no BS, straight to the point, get it done. It's just, it's a totally different mindset. Nobody's trying to steal my business all the time. There's just different mindsets. It's more collaborative with younger, my age and younger people tend to be more collaborative and less, I don't know, paranoid
of information or siloed.
It's better to share it. There's enough clients to go around. So, it's better to share information and be transparent with each other.
One of the most interesting things that you talked about is, some of the things that you didn't have to deal with when you were an employee, such as trying to figure out how to do a 401k or benefits for employees, or figure out, how can you take that leadership of what you have as a vision for the agency or the values that you have for the agency and being able to bring it into the organization. And if you can think of like did you go through like different workshops or different activities for that? Or is it kind of more organic, or how did it happen where you started understanding like, this is the vision that I have for the agency being different than the previous one, and now I'm going to start acting on these things? Or did it happen right from the get-go? I
think it happened right from the get-go. I had always known what I wanted. I had 2 weeks. I had gotten 3 weeks off when I had a baby, and 1 week my pay was docked. So I really had 2 paid weeks of leave. So that kind of stuff kind of sticks with you. And I don't want that resentment for anybody else. And I want to give back, those things that I didn't have. And I hired wonderful people that I feel like appreciate it, work their asses off, and are happy and aren't going anywhere. So that's awesome. So I think it's a win-win when you treat your people and pay your people well. They stick around.
It's a solid foundation, because you had one of the cool things about your story so far is that you had a vision for it, and you immediately went into enacting the vision right from the get-go. I think a lot of times people get into entrepreneurship and they haven't really they might have a vision of like, I want to make more money. And then they start doing it. And then that's like a different vision, as opposed to something that seems a lot more kind of like innate or value oriented, which is what you're talking about.
Absolutely. I feel like I definitely, my agency that I was at before was fairly small. So I had done every job at that agency at one point. I was there for almost over 20 years. And so when you've done like the books, or you've done the media buying, and you've done creative, and you've worked on all of these different account manager, and I had an idea of exactly what I wanted at this point. I mean, it was way past time for me to have gone out on my own. As a single mom, I stayed a little too long, I would say, in a safe, like, oh, don't take a chance. But they got to a point where I just felt like I'm going to die if I don't leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to do this. And so, yeah. Don't get to that point. Leave when you start to feel like you need to leave. That's good advice for the younger folk.
Yeah. And for the majority of the audience, they are agency owners and they've gotten to a place, whether it's 6 figures, 7 figures, or 8 figures at a certain point. But sometimes that freedom aspect, it doesn't really matter what the revenue actually is. That freedom aspect or the values aspect is something that, could be an issue in an 8-figure or 9-figure type of business too. So,
that's true.
If you were to think about, like, if you were to look back at kind of like the 5 or 6 years or so, and you look at the development of your team. So it was just you and Lisa in the way beginning, and now you have a decent time. According to LinkedIn, I think it's 7 or so. So you have
my contractors. Yeah, I have contractors and I have W-2s. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. With that kind of like that growth, what would you say are some of the biggest lessons that you learned either through like the hiring of people that going through that process, or like training people to be able to do the work? Because I know from previous conversations you're able to go to Europe with your daughter, and like really cool, fun experiences because of that. So
I would say I think I've learned, well, like I said earlier, hire people smarter than you, like Steve Jobs said. And, or at least people compliment you. Like, this is my skill set. This is yours. I think working with you, Jesse, has helped me a lot because we were able to put together a guidebook. And so that when I hired new people, it was measurable. And it was transparent. Like, here's what you need to learn. Here's when I expect you to learn it by. And so nobody was kind of flying blind. And in the beginning, it was like that. So it took a couple of years to get that going. But once I did, it was a game changer. Because now I just feel like it's a plug-in. That's like, operations feel pretty plug and play, easy. It's for me, it's all business development now, which is great. It's just a whole different world.
Mm-hmm. And talk a little bit about the paid media playbook. I was listening to a couple episodes right before this, and like what started the podcast, and how long have you had it? And
I started the podcast as a way to kind of position myself as an expert in the industry, honestly. And I got a lot of opinions, Jesse. Lisa and I have a good kind of Ernie and Bert style connection. We're so different, but so we lend really well to each other in the podcast, and we have great conversations. She's brilliant. And so together, it's like I can always play the morning show host who's kind of like, well, what does that mean? Like every guy. And then she can be like the nerdy numbers person. And so it's just fun in that way. Like, we were like that anyway. So we're basically just talking in the podcast. We're just talking, and I could talk forever, really, once I get started. So, it was just a great experience and I've been able to bring in people that I've wanted to get to know better by having a podcast. I'm able to like have that meet and greet with them, get to know them, build trust with them. And I love that. I mean, I've met some great people. We've branched out from just paid media with the playbook because I'm really targeting marketing directors at companies. And because that's who I want to find value in my podcast. And so I'm talking about creative. I'm talking about sponsorships, any sort of issue that we might run into. And some of them are just interesting. Like I kind of want to have like rando people on too, just because I feel like most marketing directors are in this like age rate. I'm just going to be like, because I work at demographics for a living. Most marketing directors are in this kind of my age range and a little bit younger. And so, just being able to talk about anything that our age finds relevant, whether it be music or dating apps. It's a combination. I don't know. I think we just have a good chemistry, Lisa and I.
Yeah.
So that's why it's working. And it's been going on for a couple of years now. And I'm getting good feedback from people. And so, yeah.
One thing I like about, so we've worked together for about 3 years on a lot of these kind of things. And one of the things that's really cool that you did with client attraction. So for anybody that's like, do I actually have to launch a podcast in order for me to get in touch with media or marketing directors or,
Right.
One thing that's cool about what you did was you realized your personality is more based around relationships and networking. And then you found a medium or a client attraction strategy that matches that.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about like, how did you kind of decide on the podcast of doing that as opposed to maybe like cold email or some other type of attraction method?
I think with the podcast, not only is it a great way to meet people and, like I said, build trust, get closer to people regardless, but also, it feels more natural than, because I think I think I've told you this, but like with media, these people have to trust me with like $200,000 of budget, and I can't. A cold email is not going to build that trust. It's going to take a long time to slowly get to that point where they're going to be like, yeah, okay, I trust you with our media budget. And so that's a different. I'm not saying don't do that. That's just a different. This is much more. This feels right. I'm able to shine my personality and my humor. Seems to be the thing that draws people to me, my honesty. So I'm just appreciating, like, I have a medium, and I like to sing and perform. So this is natural for me, I feel like, and I don't want to sound cocky. I'm like, it's fun.
I think for anybody that's listening right now and trying to figure out, what is the best way of attracting the right clients, I think part of what Laura's talking about is the fact that you have to understand your personality of what you could do, like, ongoing, regardless of what it is, and something that actually is like more natural or authentic. And when we look at client attraction, I talked about medium-sized businesses or enterprise brands. You've worked with all different types of companies. And when it comes to like paid media or media buying, what are the typical problems that people face that kind of lead them to needing your type of service?
I would say number one is lack of reporting and measurement, and not knowing how to do that properly. Attribution for the ads. I subscribe to software. I subscribe to data. I have many different programs that I have to use to do that and to make it transparent for the client too, with dashboards. And those are things that one company's not going to invest in. You got to have a lot of different, because you need so much different software and so many. Nowadays, it's just like, you've got to be a really big company if you want to do your own media properly, because you need to buy all that stuff. And for me, it's an economy of scale because I am able to do this for all these clients. So it justifies paying for these Placer AI, these different big expensive programs that are 12 grand a year, 15 grand. That's the big difference of someone not wanting to do it themselves. Also, just being in a silo, I think that a lot of marketing directors need to see what else is going on, and they need somebody to bounce things off of. I think with my skill set, having a background of both creative, digital, and traditional, I have a lot of opinions, but I also know I have a lot of acumen, and I feel like I'm able to help marketing directors like all the time, talk about our creative. Let's walk through it. Let's test it. It takes somebody who's really willing to tell a client, no, I don't think this is the way you should go. Take orders from the client. Make sure you're being true to yourself. If they're the client, at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do. But I go on record as saying, well, I would start here. I would do this and kind of be more, I'm just honest. And if their creative sucks, I will tell them. But I'll make a suggestion. No, but seriously, like a big billboard on the side of the road, and they're cramming everything in the world in it. I'm going to tell them, stop.
Yes.
Can't read that. So,
yeah. And I can only imagine, and now obviously I'm not a enterprise brand marketing director, but I can imagine that the majority of them are trying to figure out what they can do with AI and what they can do with more information and so forth. And what I've noticed personally, and I want to hear your thought on this, is that the experience that someone has in something allows them to have what someone consider to be discernment. So taking in information and being able to say, like, is this actually valid or is this not valid? Is this something you want to move on or not? And I can only imagine that the 20 plus years that you have in media strategy gives you that type of discernment, so that when information comes in, you're able to say, actually, I see where this is coming, but this is actually what it is.
Absolutely.
So that kind of leads me to think about the future of media in general. How do you see media strategy either evolving, or what you do for clients kind of evolving over the next 1 to 3 years, knowing that majority of them are going to be using AI in some form, and there might be things that are valid and things that are not?
Absolutely. We've been using AI in our software. I mean, that's what the algorithms are, to the point for many years, because we have to optimize that way. It automatically optimizes often. So, but now everybody's able to do that. When I can go in and say, put a media plan together and give me all the different ideas and what are my KPIs but it is kind of one dimensional. It is, we all know garbage in, garbage out. So we don't know. I'm always asking, where did you get this? Where did you get this? Where did you get this? sources, please. And, but I think, at least for me and the way our agency works, is being able to explain it to the client, because AI is only going to give you like this kind of cookie cutter thing. And every brand is different. Every audience is different. And so I would say, and also being able to give advice based on creative, based on being in a certain location. I mean, there's so many things to take into consideration that, you'd have to feed a lot of stuff into AI, and you still wouldn't have that human, like, creative side either. That part that I feel like helps us stand out from basic digital marketing, where they're like, well, let me plug this in and get the metrics back. No, how does this all work together? I think the funnel is still, I just think we have to measure each piece along in that attribution. And we're not there yet with AI. We're definitely not there. And especially with creative. It's never going to be, I'll harken back to that podcast that you had listened to earlier with Tyler, where it was just, it's not going to be that feeling that you get when you're actually there. AI is doing things as if they are there, but they're not there in that moment. They're not experiencing and smelling and tasting and seeing the weird things that are happening that you would only notice if you were there. And that's good creative, are those things that aren't obvious, but you're like, oh yeah, I know her. She did do that. That's cool. I know that because I did that. So yeah, I would say that's the glue that's going to keep us working in marketing to some extent. I know that a lot of things are going to get more and more automated, but I think has anything made you less busy? No. Like, I mean, I think it's not going to open up a bunch of, it's just going to give you more shit to do. And so I feel like, and so we're always going to be needed because, I mean, marketing directors don't have time to do it all. And they're not going to sit there and plug their entire job into AI and just, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't even make sense. So, I think we've got, like I said, everybody's too busy to do everything themselves. Well,
I think there's a weird paradox where AI is supposed to save time, but it makes you just work more and have to spend more time discerning, is this accurate or is this not accurate? And in either previous podcasts that I've either been on or within this one, I've talked a lot about how agencies over the next 3 to 5 years will end up splitting between execution oriented, which is the lowest cost kind of thing, and then more based around the strategy side. And I see that based on the foundation that you've been talking about, the podcast, which ultimately is two different things. One, authority base, and then also how AI does searches is based around podcasts. So you being on the podcast is going to help your AI search thing. But at the same time, you're also interviewing people about paid media and being a part of that within the network, which allows you to be able to have that discernment that is needed. And so I can see the strategy of paid media being actually the increase of demand. Like the demand is going to continue to increase as more people have the information from like a mediocre average. And so it's cool how you're positioning it.
Yep. I feel like you got to be as well-rounded as possible at this point. And I'm not saying don't specialize, but like you said, I think strategy is unique to each client. So you've got to have that discernment over years and years and years of like, oh no, I've seen this. Cause I did some basic math basically to figure out return on ad spend for a client recently. And I had it figure out in chat. Like I went in there and I was like, okay, here's all the information, bleh. And it gave it back and it did it wrong and it figured it out wrong. It did the math wrong. Like I thought that would be the one thing that they could do right would be like math because it's finite, but no. So, I mean, it came and it really interpreted it, even though I had it just so obvious, it screwed it up. I sent it off. Client caught it and I'm like, fuck, this sucks. Okay. I see. Ugh. But so I learned like, just you really do second guess it as much as possible because that was embarrassing and that was just like a week ago. So
another lesson.
Yeah. You never stop in AI. We're gonna keep learning a lot of things. I mean, but it is super freaking helpful too. Let's be clear. Sometimes I feel like, gosh, just give me something to edit. I don't want to have to. Yeah, so that's nice.
So if we were to kind of wrap this up into a couple of different lessons, and then I'll open it up to anybody that wants to get in touch with you. But some of the main lessons that I've captured so far is first off, hire really good people right from the get-go. Treat them really well, based around not just like being nice to them or paying them a bunch, but actually like taking care of them, focusing on benefits and the actual work-life balance piece. Another piece was based around client attraction and the way that you get clients. You need to both match the personality, but also like your personality and match what they need in order for them to be able to trust you with, especially with media buying money. Aside from those, is there any other kind of lessons? Like if you were to talk to your previous version of yourself and say like, here's one or two things that you should do or shouldn't do to get you to save either time, energy, or money. Is there anything else that you would say?
I would say get in touch early with your, I'm going to speak, this is, I think men and women, but for me, I like the intuition, the feeling that you get when you're making choices and you get a feeling in your physical body about like what you should do. Listen to that. Like, don't, you have to have that integrity with yourself, being true to yourself. So, when you start getting horrible, like toxic feelings about anything, you've got to listen to that. That matters. So I would say, you don't have to grin and bear it forever. You can make a change. And I know this is like what every old person says to young people, but like, freaking do it. Go do it. Don't worry about it. Stop being afraid and just do it, because shit is going to happen no matter what. Bad shit is going to happen, whether you want it to or not. So just do it. Yes, you're going to deal with it, but you're going to deal with other bad shit if you did this, if you stayed the way it was. So I'm just, kind of babbling here, but that's the truth. That would be the one major thing I would say. And I would say, don't burn bridges. Like, I remember when I first started, I had, was working for a guy who was, he kind of, ruled a little bit with fear and anger with our partners and our vendors and on our clients' behalf, but he put the fear in people. And so everybody was trying to please him. And I ended up learning from him, like, I've got to be tough. And I realized how quickly, first of all, as a young woman, that doesn't fucking work. You're just a horrible bitch. And then, but second versus the old guy. But then also now I quickly realized that's bad, because I had a lot of people give me feedback about him. And I'm like, okay, this isn't working for anybody. So that's why I'm talking about being collaborative, and they'll work harder for you. Your vendors will work harder for you if you're not bullying them. It works in the beginning. They want to please you in the beginning, but over time, I'm so glad that I kept the relationships I have, because I have just an amazing network. And because I chose to take a slightly higher road. Mm-hmm. I hate to sound braggy, but I'm proud of myself for that. Yeah.
This is really cool, because if I was to tie it all together, in the beginning, you had a vision for the agency that was different from what you had in the past. You didn't wait at all. Right from the get-go, you started bringing that vision into Double Z. Then from Double Z, you were able to grow the team, get them to align to your values. And even as you're talking about, some of the things where there's like this balance between the way that you feel about how you show up, or, how you need to act as a leader, is really based around that values component that we talked about in the way beginning. So, very, very cool how it continues to be kind of like staple and core to how you operate now, and then also how your organization is. So,
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So if anybody is listening to this and they want to learn more about either Double Z or connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn, and I would say, Jesse, you probably have something listed, because I'm not going to spell my name here.
Yeah.
I have a very strange last name, Szczes, pronounced Sis, but if we were in Poland, it would be Szczes. So anyway, just saying, doublezmedia.com is a great way, because it's easier to spell. And then LinkedIn, Laura.Sis, I think is my at LinkedIn. And then, Laura at doublezmedia.com, or my cell phone. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I was like, how far are we going down here?
Yeah. So we're doing a scorecard right now. So, basically we meet with you for half hour, and we gather some information and come back and talk and give you a scorecard of things how we feel are, it's positive. It'll be coming from a positive place, I promise. But maybe there's room for growth here. And maybe there's, or this is something maybe you're spending too much money on. You could be saving. Lots of little morsels seem to be gotten, according to my clients. They're like, this was worth it. So
yeah, awesome. For anybody that is listening and wants to get in touch with Laura, I'll include all the links in the show notes below, including the scorecard. So for paid media, if you're doing paid media right now and you're trying to figure out how to optimize it, the paid media scorecard is another thing I'll add into the show notes. So Laura, I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jesse. Thanks, everyone.
Agency owners, if you want to transform your agency to sustain and grow without your direct involvement, where you can stop working in the business and start working on the business, where you can free up your time, delegate work more effectively, price and position your services to finally get paid for what you're worth, and have the team run the day-to-day, go to nicheandcontrol.com/case study now to learn more about leverage for growth. And also to book a free strategy session with us. We'll look at your systems, determine exactly what you need to do in order for you to scale this year, and to create a strategic plan so that you can live the life of entrepreneurship you've always dreamed about. Go to nicheandcontrol.com/case study now.